things. I think the biggest thing of the week is Penn State for the first time ever has well, I guess really for the first time ever, multiple different ways. Its first season with first round picks in the NBA draft, the NHL draft, and now the NFL draft, and the NFL draft, but also all concurrently at the same time. I think it's a fascinating time to become a Penn Stater, a bizarre time to kind of become a Penn Stater. But I think let's start with the hockey aspect because that's what we talk about probably the most. That is Jackson Smith, the recruit from the WHL, going in the first round to the Columbus Blue Jackets. I begin with the point that it is very ironic that there is only one other city in America. Well, I guess there's two because of LA. But there's only one other city I think in America that has a Big Ten town and has a NHL team, and of course he goes to that one, and I thought that was quite enjoyable. No, I think this is a this is a hallmark high watermark for the program in a lot of ways, and I don't know. I think we'll get to the other name that people want to discuss in a little bit here too. But like, part of me just sitting here wondering again, like if they don't go to the Frozen Four, is this happening right now? If they don't go on the run that they went on starting back in January, that led them to the Frozen Four, is this happening right now? And I think this again is starting to change the way we talk about hockey at Penn State. It's starting to change the way we talk about the conversation there in terms of now Penn State is not only entering an era where it can win, it's entering an era where it's developing NHL talent, something it has not consistently done in the like 15-ish years, 12-ish years, now that it's been a Division One program. And I think that's pretty exciting. I think it's very cool to see Penn State have five, I think it was five in total draft picks.
Yep.
Um,
And three on the
including
roster
Jackson
last
Smith.
year and five draft picks.
Yeah. Yeah.
This time.
Yeah. So,
Can I?
go ahead.
I'm very
Couple
excited.
things.
I
Yeah.
think it's great for
Go ahead.
them.
Peace, Steve.
Can you say they develop NHL talent if the number one pick hasn't ever laced up
So,
for them?
well, dear friend of the podcast, Russ, asked a very good, important, and good question about this because a lot of people are a little confused because the NHL draft does not work about the same way the NFL draft does or the NBA draft was. The Blue Jackets drafted the rights to Jackson Smith. And that means that he's kind of still free to do whatever he wants. If he wants to go play in the NHL, he could, but that's probably not going to happen just based on the way that NHL teams operate. And so Penn State is likely, by all reports, actually, no, not likely. He has signed. So he's going to play at Penn State this season. They're going to have to develop him and help him develop. So, yes, I do think they are entering their era in which they
And I
develop
think
talent.
Charlie Serrato, right, from the bits I
Right.
saw, like gets credit for Penn State gets credit for him being here and getting picked where he did this
Right.
year, and people saying things about him in the program after he's picked. So it was great for hockey. I mean, five guys in one draft. I mean, that's wonderful.
It's the most, I think. It's obviously it's the two earliest picks, I believe, because I think Serrato going, even though he went in the second round, I think he beat out some of the other guys. And I think that's important, and I think we have not talked about the Gavin McKenna thing on this podcast yet, just because I'm just trying to lay low, work some sources. Okay, I have sources. We have those here, people. Um, I do think I think that situation is not possible without the success that they had
Oh,
leading into.
no doubt.
And I also think I'm going to give Pat Kraft some flowers here. I do think that this is Boston College Pat Kraft seeing and realizing what hockey could be and the potential it has, and opening up some of those NIL funds in that direction, and making sure that that program is supported in that direction. And I do think, based on people I've talked to, but also just the hunches, and I do think it is very possible that Gavin McKenna is playing at Pagula Ice Arena this year. Do I think it's going to happen? No, or do I think it's going to happen 100%? No, but I don't think anything's going to happen 100% for the most part. And I think there's a couple factors that could change, but I do feel comfortable in saying that Penn State appears to be the leader in the clubhouse there was just reported this week that he was on campus both at Penn State and at Michigan State. He's kind of taking some time to decide. I think it was in a Sportsnet article, a feature about him and his family that I read this weekend. But I think if he comes to Penn State, it's the biggest recruit in Penn State history. I think not just hockey, Penn State sports history.
Yeah, I'll go there. Well,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, because
It's a program changing commit.
well, right, and I think in hockey, they're going to play right away, right? And
Right.
you're going to be able to see them. It's not like the number one running back coming and the number one quarterback coming, you know. So who would be number 2 on that list?
I was thinking about this. That's a really good question, and I knew you were going to ask it.
I think mine is Hack. I mean, I know you were going to go there, but I think mine is Hack.
I
Just for
think
coming through the tough times, sticking around, and starting right away.
Yes, I think that's the stability he provided, and we can throw AB in there too because he was equally as big of a star level recruit.
Right.
I think the difference with Gavin McKenna is, and I know hockey is somewhat niche and somewhat of an insular world compared to football for sure, but like it's going to put an unprecedented amount of attention on Guy Gadowski's team if he comes.
Yeah.
I think would be the best way to say that.